Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a new TW9 video. We're on the very short run to Revolution, where we've basically got this show, Collision, another Dynamite, another Collision, and then we're there with a couple of rampages just to put some matches in. It's interesting, as I say, more people are coming back from injuries, some new storylines begin, some people who weren't previously used appear. Quite a lot happening. But as I say, when you've got 2 weeks to build a show, you need a lot to happen. So yeah, sit back, relax. It's time for another episode of AEW Dynamite. So at the Hard Rock Live in Florida, so it should be a good attendance here. We haven't got Gabe Kidd versus Eddie Kingston. It was a chance to actually do that match, but I think I'm going to leave that to Collision. And if we can't get it for Collision, I'll make sure it's next week's show. So I started off with a match we had only a month ago on Collision, which had nowhere near the rating I had here, so I'm delighted with that. About that had some great wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. Saw Swerve Strickland defeat Vikingo in 12:49 with a Swerve Stomp. This match was designed so they would go out and steal the show. 79-53-79, great performance from Swerve, but I just felt like he obviously took the loss to Orange Cassidy. He's coming straight back with a win here. So I had him cut a promo straight after, only a 54, which is disappointing. And he just says, yeah, not ideal that he lost to Orange Cassidy. Maybe it was a bit of a fluke, but it's time for him to take that frustration out on somebody else. He's got his eyes on someone, just going to attack them when they least expect it. So who could that be? Remains to be seen. We then had a return from injury. It's Sky Blue. So just basically a little surprise entrance for her, a 45, as she benefits from the groundswell of public support. She gets a random match against Athena for the TBS Championship, and it was a decent matchup that saw Athena defeat Sky Blue in 9-12 with the O-Face, giving her 6th defence of the TBS title. I feel like someone but Sky, her attributes aren't great in this, but she's young enough, she can develop, so having her in there with Athena is only going to benefit her. And a 67 for the final segment is good stuff. Pretty good chemistry between them, which is nice to see as well. Because obviously Sky Blue is hopefully someone that will benefit from the big women's tournament. Then have some words from Jessie McKay we'll call it Jessie McKay, and Scott D'Amore. So they basically confirm that they're looking to sign women talents to make sure everyone's here. They intend the tournament to kick off after Revolution. I've basically got like 7 signed up already. There's many more. It's basically people from around the world that are maybe on like handshake deals elsewhere or written deals but not exclusives, so we can bring them in and let them wrestle elsewhere, and we can have them in for 6 months. If they impress, then we go from there. But hopefully, as I say, after Revolution I'll be happy with what we've got. I'll get the brackets done, and then we'll negotiate a deal and get Shockwave up and running, so we can get everything on the way. And Scott D'Amore says, same for the tag situation. No new signings coming for that, but he's going to make sure it's the best tournament possible, and hopefully some tag teams will really thrive coming out of it. I will note as well, Billy Starks won't be in it, and that's purely there's no way for me to get her to the main roster and in this tournament without her obviously having to be called up, which would mean she would lose the ROH title. Other ones I can obviously put up, but they wouldn't lose the title, so they wouldn't have a title to lose, so that's the reason why Billy Starks won't be in it, unless by magic ROH decide to do it. Next up, we had the Guns in action, and a decent matchup saw the Guns defeat Angelo Parker and Matt Menard in 7:37 when Colton Gunn pinned Angelo Parker with a Colt 45. Obviously, after the attack from Jay White on Bryan Danielson at the pay-per-view, we kind of need to make the Guns look serious, so they pick up the win here in a 59 rated match. We then hear from Switchblade Jay White, who cuts a promo. He mentions both Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, and it's a 69 segment. So what Jay White basically says here is, you know, there's all these kind of wars going around, and people are forgetting about Bullet Club Gold and the Bang Bang Gang, how dangerous they can be. So Jay White says, let him remind people just who he is. He doesn't want to just beat Bryan Danielson, but hey, the Blackpool Combat Club, they ain't scared of them. and he wouldn't mind getting his hands on John Moxley as well. I think I might make that a triple threat match at the pay-per-view. Still to be decided, but it's just so we can have gang warfare, and obviously maybe the Bang Bang guy needs some numbers going forward. We had a little segment backstage. It was Jack Perry, Okada and the Young Bucks, and it's not very good for Jack Perry because the Young Bucks and Okada have decided that because of the unsuccessful night for the Elite at the pay-per-view, as in Jack Perry costing the Bucks the tag championships, and of course Okada losing the Continental Championship to Kenny Omega, they are officially making him the scapegoat and have axed him from the Elite. He is no longer welcome in their stable. He is done. That is a 71. Next up, we had a decent matchup, another rematch from a few weeks ago, as FTR defeated Big Bill and Brian Keefe in 9:36 when Cash Wheeler pinned Brian Keefe with a big rig. The death of the learning tree has advanced. Some decent stuff there, but interestingly, Brian Keefe wasn't too far off FTR's performance, but hopefully we can start getting their morale up and positive stuff from FTR. But 62 overall. As for the learning tree, it is the episode after, so now it's time for them to end. Chris Jericho then says to Big Bill and Brian Keefe, "I'm disappointed you have continued to be losers with defeat after defeat after defeat. I am undeniable. These people are undeniable. It's time for us to take over this company." Out of nowhere, Ricky Starks, Wardlow and Britt Baker as well, and they destroy Brian Keefe and Big Bill, and after it they stand at the top of the aisle alongside a clean shaven, pretending it's 2009, "I'm the best in the world at what I do, Chris Jericho. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now?" So 59 segment for that one. The Death of the Learning Tree has advanced, gained heat, and has ended. Brian Keefe's going to go to Ring of Honor. Big Bill will find something else from. I'll move Wardlow from Undisputed Kingdom to Undeniable. So yeah, that was my plan. We went weeks to do this one and just hold off, but I feel like Wardlow and Starks can develop, and Jericho obviously can put his overness on them. We'll still use these very good promo skills, and we'll see where it goes. Next up, with a decent matchup that saw Tony Storm defeat Camille in 10:15 with a strong zero. Made it storytelling because obviously big powerhouse against Tony. 56-47 and a 60. The CEO Dallin storyline has advanced with this segment, so I wonder who's going to be feuding there. But 62 for Tony, 50 for Camille. Probably one of Camille's better matches so far. And because she got the upper hand on Camille, of course Mercedes Moné takes the frustration out on Tony Storm and attacks her. I'm basically going to hope to have these two do battle for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. 53. Next up, in a decent whale brawl, we had Donovan Dijak make his in-ring debut by defeating Mark Briscoe in 8:21 with the reverse Death Valley driver. Dijak was off his game, sadly only a 47 compared to Briscoe's 63, but it establishes the new member of the Hurt Syndicate with a good win over a very game opponent in Mark Briscoe. Afterwards, we get some words from the leader of the spokesman for the Hurt Syndicate, MVP, and alongside Donovan Dijak we also have Bobby Lashley out, and they just say they ain't finished with Ricochet, they ain't finished with Will Ospreay. In fact, they ain't even finished with Aussie Open either, and MVP says he's not going to stop until they get the full revenge on the both of them, or all of them. So 57, storyline advances, gains a little bit of heat. I'll probably rotate between these kind of segments and actually typing the angles out as well, to a small extent, just seeing what kind of happen. I know I said I was going to continually do it, but sometimes I just kind of leave it. Just depends how I feel. Main event, to make sure we gain popularity, and to try and get him some good momentum after starting chilly. It had some great wrestling and good heat. Kenny Omega defeats Roderick Strong in 17:38 with a one-winged angel. First defence of the Continental title. These two have good chemistry, that lifted the match. 76-56, 78. I'm just trying to get overness, but at the same time get Kenny in a good position with good defences. But we finished the show increased their pop in 8 regions. We never really had much of a promo site. Well, we actually did have the 71 from the Bucks, and yeah, maybe we do need to work on people getting stronger in the promo sense. The matches are fine, that's going to always get us a good position, but as we get to 73s, we really need to be in a position where we need the promos to start carrying. So that's interesting there. Any locker room incidents for Rampage? No. I just want to check one last thing. It's not going to let me do it. Basically, we'll do it after a Rampage and Collision. We've taken over 5 different companies, so I got the achievement for that. And I haven't, usually in the last save I done last year, I just killed every company. Not this year. We have every one of them as developmental, including, I believe, Rev Pro. So there you go. In fact, actually, if I go to AEW, well, you can see some of the women talents that have been hired. Have we got who we've bought? We do not, but it gives you an idea of the kind of women that have been hired, the likes of Alex Windsor, Arisa Nakajima, Brooke Havoc, and Sayori Anu, and Tezuka Fujimoto are in so far. Written contracts just to give them into that tournament. Some are handshakes as well, but that's just Tony Nese getting back to Ring of Honor. But yeah, maybe didn't show who we've all bought. We have bought a lot of companies. As I say, 5 companies. Didn't kill any of them. As I say, just as a case of, yeah, developmental. And it means, like, you know, we like Rev Pro, we can send people to get progress, ironically saying progress, but getting people over in the UK, get one in Japan, one in Mexico. So it's going to, and they've all got our television deal on our network, so it's going to start to really invest in that going forward. But anyway, that's Dynamite. That's a little roundup. Time for Rampage and Collision. So Rampage was an okay show with a very good main event. Opted for Sammy Guevara to defeat Zack Knight. His sister, Saraya, then had a promo with Harley Cameron. That's a 43, trying to help develop Harley's promo skills effectively, because she's pretty alright at that. We video for Serena, which was a 27. We had Nick Wayne defeat Action Andretti, which was a 57. Then had some words from Christian Cage, just talking about how he still has that contract, and of course, bigging up Nick Wayne. I had Hook defeat Alex Reynolds, which was a 57. I feel like if we just keep giving Hook matches, hopefully he'll progress. So you'll more see like a lot more like development stuff, I suppose, on Rampage as we try and help people get over, although that will change slightly, to be explained shortly. Words from Zach Cassidy and Mark Quinn, just saying how they're looking to kickstart their careers here in year 6 of AEW. Some words from Eddie Kingston as he's hyping up his match with Gabe Kidd, which is actually finally happening on Collision. And the main event saw Io Shirai defeat Sayori Anu in a 73 match. She will be featuring as part of the Super Shine Grand Prix, Elite Grand Prix, I think it's called, or big tournament anyway. Can confirm those matches will all start taking place after Revolution. We are going to have 40 women, 10 groups of 4 in a round robin format. 4 winners will take place into semi-finals and then a final. No idea who's going to win it, just going to see how it goes and see who wins naturally. And in the tag division, it's going to be 3 groups of 6, so 18 tag teams, round robin format. The winners will collide in a TLC match, just because. So looking forward to booking that. As I say, at the end of the video, when we do Collision, we'll run through everyone, because it's all been drawn out. And yeah, I'm going to look to, basically after next week's Collision, start shopping for a new deal so we can start having some of those round 1 matches, because I'm going to need another TV show for it. So I'm going to try and get like a 6-month deal somewhere. But I'm hoping the tournament will be done by Double or Nothing. It might not, because there's going to be a hell of a lot of matches, and it's still going to be like maybe a 1 hour show, maybe a 1.5 hour show that we get. So I don't want to do too much booking, or I'll be going insane that I can't get my storylines over. But anyway, we've got this show and another 2 shows to get Revolution's card put together. So let's move on to that. So we get 5,138 fans in Sam's Town's Las Vegas. We started off with some hot action eras and a good match. Darby Allin defeats Roderick Strong in 13:52 with the coffin drop. I made this my steal the show match because I thought like these 2 would put on a good match. Pretty good chemistry, which gives them a 74 and a 62.
And overall the segment drew a 72. So a good win there for Darby, coming off that hellacious match with Hangman Adam Page, who have basically put on holiday for a couple of weeks to help sell the injuries. Then after it, we get a small little promo from Darby Allin. It's just basically a gist of him saying, Claudio, I may be hurt, but I am not resting until I take that AEW World title from you. Don't care what nick I'm in. Revolution, let's do it. So a 64, the Bride's funeral storyline advanced season. Losing a little bit of heat. There's that many people involved in it. But basically setting up for Darby versus Claudio again for the world title. And then moved on to a decent matchup that saw Toni Storm defeat Anna Jay in 10:05 Strong Zero. This overall gained a 59. I feel like Anna needs a lot more matches to help her develop. She's got a lot of people saying great potential, she's going to be a star, but we need to start hopefully giving her matches to help her improve. I don't want to basically fire off to her many developmentals, which we'll also show at the end of the video, so a lot to cover there. And then Toni cuts some words on Mercedes Moné. She says she's coming for that NJPW Strong Women's Championship and she's going to knock her off her perch in just true Toni Storm fashion. So 56, storyline advances and gains heat, and she probably just tells her to look out for the shoe because, you know, she's using that hot catchphrase. Then had a small promo here from Undeniable, which is of course a faction of Chris Jericho, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Ricky Starks, and Wardlow. It's just basically Chris saying, you know, he's remembered who he is. He truly is the best in the world at what he does. And he also says that, you know, it's an absolute criminal shame what people have been saying about the likes of Dr. Britt Baker, that she's just not good enough. Ricky Stark's been cast to the books, basically, cast to the back of the line. And, you know, Wardlow was meant to be the next big man in wrestling. And with Chris Jericho, he's going to show that he is. So a 62 promo. I'm hoping this faction can at least utilise Jericho's promo skills, pass something over on the sort of others, and yeah, hopefully we can get a couple of stars made out of it. We then cut backstage, we see the Undisputed Kingdom, and it's just Roderick Strong talking to Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, just saying, what is going wrong, guys? This just isn't working. I've been on a horrible loss record. Just what can we do? And that is a 42. Moved on to some tag team action and the ever-going feud between the Hurt Syndicate and, of course, Aussie Open, Ricochet and Will Ospreay. It's about to have some good wrestling and decent action from the crowd as Aussie Open defeat the Hurt Syndicate, Hobbs and Benjamin, in 10:20 when Fletcher pinned Shelton with the Coriolis. Overall, a 71, pretty good stuff there. Weakest link was Shelton Benjamin, but still a pretty good performance. And yeah, just momentum moving on the side of the baby faces in this one. We then had a good wrestling match and a decent reaction from the crowd as Pac defeated Kyle O'Reilly in 12:11 with a Black Arrow. This one was a 73 overall, so good stuff there. I think these two have faced before, but I needed to give Pac a victory because his momentum's in the toilet. And a good one here for the bastard going forward. We then had some words from our two authority figures for the women and the male divisions. Basically, Jessie McKay and Scott D'Amore have come out and just confirmed that we have got the brackets. They'll be on AllEliteWrestling.com. Basically saying, we'll let you see what the brackets are at the end of the episode, but just so they show it for the televised crowd to check out the magnitude of wrestling that we have going forward, because there's a lot. Good luck getting storylines around that. In our tag division, we're about here with great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and just shows how strong our tag division is going into this tournament, as the Lucha Brothers defeated Private Party in 11:37 when Penta pinned Quen with the assisted Fear Factor. 80 overall is excellent stuff. Rey Fenix is batting out 90 performance constantly. I do appreciate that's a big factor in the excellent chemistry. It maybe be mid-80s. But some good stuff there. And the Lucha Bros are building momentum as they head towards Revolution. We then bump into Roderick Strong, who's basically saw Kyle O'Reilly. And he says, things not going well for you either, huh? Maybe time to think about something. So 56 there, just a wee 2-minute segment. I think I made it very quick, and it was just a case of, you know, are we hinting at something here, are we not? Remains to be seen. We then had a matchup. It didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. She appeared, she wanted to know if she could be used. Swerve was happy with it, Foley was happy with it. I'm like, do you know what? We'll use Melina, we'll just use her as an enhancement talent. Camille defeats her in 5:25 with a spear. Storytelling matchup was always going to be horrible. Just a bit disappointing they still view Camille as a pre-show worker, obviously not really gaining the overness working with Mercedes at the moment. But a 50 performance from her, but sadly only a 21 segment rating. Ouch. And then after this, Toni Storm comes out. She basically brawls with Camille, and we just have Mercedes Moné just, that way where Mercedes is always in the background acting dramatic. Just basically that. I think it's a case of Toni wants to get to Mercedes, but obviously she has to deal with Camille, and Mercedes makes a run for it. So that was a 49. Then had some words from Christian Cage alongside Killswitch, Nick Wayne and Shayna Wayne, Renee Paquette on interview duties here. And I felt with this one it was just Christian saying, look at the run Nick Wayne has been on recently. Remember, we are the trios champions. But at the same time, remember, I have this contract. I can be world champion whenever I want. And when the time is right, you'll know. So that was a 64. Hopefully that kind of benefits a few of them. And our main event was a well brawl that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Eddie Kingston gets his revenge by defeating Gabe Kidd in 12:33 by pinfall with a back fist to the future. He got a 68. I felt like because we've been hyping up for a while, it had to main event, so we probably will lose pop because we're kind of need to get into the 70s now. I should just be putting tag matches as main events, but Eddie gets a win. And, oh, that's horrible. Because the promo at the end of the show, only a 55, I was hoping he'd nail this one, but he basically talks about, how like Gabe Kidd's out the way, his mind, his vision, his eyes are set on the Blackpool Combat Club and what they've basically been doing around here. Now he realises that Darby Allin wants Claudio Castagnoli, fair enough. TEWIX already called him, Brian and Mox, fair enough. Eddie Kingston wants a fight with the BCC, Pac, you don't have anything planned. We've went to war before, and I think at Revolution, it's time we go to war again. So 55, basically setting up Eddie Kingston versus Pac. Show itself 65, increased their pop in free regions, lost in 15. I kind of expected that when I saw the main event was only a 68. I feel this was one where, promo side, Christian was strong. Jericho probably would have been strong if it was just him alone. I felt matches were pretty good. You get 3 there, especially Lucha Bros Private Party. But we need to take the risk with how I like to run shows. Basically, I always try and put faith in the main event, and it allows me the rest of the show to use it as kind of like developed talents, and I can afford the lesser show if the main event is strong. But one of those ones, it's fine. I don't want to just jump straight to the top, so we'll take some losses as we get there. Financial report was 557 profit, so that's pretty good. As I say, we're kind of motoring that kind of level. As I say, we're never losing money any month now, so I might just start investing everything else. And you can see the red for the losses and the green for the gains. So we'll jump back to the main screen. We're going to cover a few things here. We're going to look through the companies I've purchased. Just a lot that were like 200,000, 300,000 in debt. Haven't pillaged any of them, just basically just going to let them run as they were. And maybe we'll utilise them down the line. I didn't feel like there was many titles or events I wanted to steal, and I thought, well, at least if I get them and they're still running, it's achievement ticked off as well, which is part of the series aim as well for the Sicko, is achievement hunting. So, what have we got here? Bust up between Jimmy Uso and Chad Gable. WWE had Elimination Chamber. Oh, there's a confrontation in New Japan as well. Tanahashi has won the IWGP Heavyweight title, and Drew McIntyre has won the World Heavyweight title. So Elimination Chamber, they had Drew versus Gunther, Ray versus Jey Uso, Punk versus LA Knight in a cage match, Rhea versus Charlotte. You can see they're getting a lot of matches that are even into the light blues, so we've got a long way to go to even get close to WWE. So I like that there's a real big challenge instead of just getting there straight away like last year. So that's good, that's fun. What else we've got? Rey Mysterio won the IC title, we spoke about there. Collision was drawing a lot of praise despite his losing points. Rhea Ripley's been in the gym, so that's cool. There's been a bust up between Lorraine Punk and Ian Riccaboni. So Lorraine Punk was signed. She was obviously a generated wrestler on the 6th of December. Cool gives you the exact day. She's in developmental. There might be something there. The star quality was the reason we brought her in. Obviously 19, there's a lot of time to develop. She is fighting in MMA soon as well. But yeah, she's not really done much. As you can tell with the popularity. Mike Kyoda's fighting fans at Black Label Pro. I think that's our news items. Eddie Kingston has forged an alliance between Jimmy Jacobs and Penta. Right, we'll let my way with that. So, first but foremost, developmental companies. So, we purchased, because there's a lot, Pro Wrestling Eve in the UK, Ice Ribbon from Japan, IWRG Lucha Libre from Mexico, Rev Pro. It was either them or Progress, but Rev Pro being in an alliance felt, no, that made the most sense. ROH obviously, and then 01 in Japan. All those were in debt and all those were purchased by us. So I haven't changed anything, they just run as they are. The only benefit they get now is every one of them is on our broadcaster. So they should gain popularity, which should help their workers, should help, well, obviously we will take workers for the companies as well. And yeah, it means we can send people out there in the future and we'll have a lot of options because we have a big roster, 164. Admittedly, that's because everyone in these tournaments has obviously been signed. So what we're going to work with? Well, we have the Briscoes Tag Cup Group A, which will feature Aussie Open, the Lucha Brothers, Top Flight, the Outrunners, the Righteous, and the Kingdom. I actually decided with all these not to use any Ring of Honor talents to save them being called up. We actually signed enough women that we didn't even need to go for that. Group B has FTR, the Kings of the Black Throne, the Butcher and the Blade, Angelo Parker and Matt Menard, the Acclaimed in the MXM collection. So you're going to see a lot of tag teams that I haven't really used get some wins, so hopefully they can gain momentum and so they might get a surprise push. In Group C saw the Young Bucks, Private Party, the Grizzled Young Veterans, the Guns, Reynolds and Silver, and actually one from ROH is the Workhorsemen. Thought, yeah, we get them in. For the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix Group A, it's Mercedes Moné and Tony Storm, so that feud will carry on past Revolution. We've also got Hikaru Shida, Taya Valkyrie, Sky Blue, Takuma Iroha, Tasaska Fujimoto, apologies for the butcher of pronunciations, Tay Melo. We're bringing in Gazelle Shaw despite her splitting from Scott D'Amore, so we've managed to keep that fine, and Mi Saruga is in Group A. Group B sees Athena, Jamie Hayter, Anna Jay, Saraya, Willow Nightingale, Alex Windsor, Camille, Azumi, Maki Ito, and Mayu Yamashita. Group C sees Mariah May, Io Shirai, Donna Perazzo, Mina Shirakawa, Thunder Rosa, who's back from her concussion basically as the tournament starts, Queen Aminata, Riho, Masha Slamovich, Rio Mizunami, and Felka. And Group D sees Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Chris Statlander, Marina Shafir, Megan Bain, Serena Deeb, Arisa Nakajima, Saori Anu, Yuka Sakazaki, Maxi Impaler, and Sari. I have no idea who's winning any group. I'm just going to let the tournament go naturally and then the top 4 will compete for the cup. And we'll maybe decide title shot down the line. But that's it. So a lot of that's coming up, as I say. I'll wait till after Revolution before we negotiate the TV deal, because obviously that want to go straight away. It'll either be a TV deal with a realistic company or I'll just fire it on their network, which is always an easy possibility. But it'll be a show dedicated to just these tournament matches to basically help us not take up all the time on Dynamite and Rampage, well, especially Collision, sorry, not Rampage. Rampage will be full of these matches as well. So thank you very much for watching. Every thumbs up would be deeply appreciated. Let us know how your own saves are getting on. And of course, check out the usual places, the Fantasy Booker subreddit, the Grey Dog Software forums, twdb.com, and bethebooker.net. Hopefully I'll see you next week for the go home shows for Revolution. Take it easy. Bye bye.